Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 8 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Price County Highway and Transportation Committee to order. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Joe Baratka, Doug Erickson,
Here.
Paula Hodek,
Here.
Larry Polachek,
Here.
Jordan Spacek.
Here.
Items for discussion and possible action. Public comment and communications. Is there anyone here signed up for public comment?
Sure. Only one name on this. Anybody else need to sign?
Okay, we have one person here wishes to speak at public comment, Dave Kivala. If you would get up and state your name and the community you're from, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay, this on? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Dave Kivla from Town of Knox and Brantwood, and I'm here about our church on Zion Church on Highway D North. When the county built the road up a few years ago, it slopes all the water into the church basement. And I showed Roger one day, we took and looked at the site, there's no ditch there. Everything comes off the highway and goes right in the church. And there's no place for it to flow. There's the next place has got another road going in, a driveway with no culvert in it. So we had estimates to put drain around our building. Our church would be about $14,000, and we only have like 12 members. So, and I showed Roger the basement was full of water then, and so it's a problem that was caused. We've never had this problem before. They fixed the road, and we've been fighting it for years. We painted the walls, we did everything, but it's still heavy rain that always floods the basement. And what we proposed was if they used the grade all and then made a ditch there so the water goes around the building or down the highway, and then that would solve the problem. That's about all. Any questions from anybody?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else here for public comment? Does anyone have communications on the committee? Well, it's not 5 after yet. Anyone online for our public hearing? Anybody have a story that's 3 minutes long? Only 2? Okay.
Yep, it's 8:04.
Whistle at him.
I can sing a hymn.
Seeing it was your idea, you want to hum a few bars?
We can do a quick communication for highway. So they've been helping us with the parking lot. We did get the first coat down on the parking lot. The next coat, we figure 3 weeks to get it finished whenever American gets back. We are going to make one alteration to it. So the parking or the entrance on the east side of the parking lot, so the one that way towards Heindels, old Heindels, we're actually going to move it down about 12 feet. So where it starts now on the north side, that's where it's going to end. We're going to move it. And mostly we're looking at that for large traffic that comes through to do like deliveries or the dumpster. So it'll be like a big T. So it'll go straight to the alley. And so you can go left to right, where now it's like an S curve to go through vehicles. So they are going to make that alteration before we finish the project.
Is there more cement work to do there?
There was going to be more
Yes.
cement work anyways. We had to do that entrance. So instead of doing it where it is, we're moving it down.
Yeah, I just felt, Larry, that we just do one entrance at a time Cause American was supposed to show up quite some time ago, so I didn't want to tear up both entrances and then, then dump trucks couldn't get in. And then I was talking with Josh and Nick about the parking lot layout and just ease of traffic through the parking lot. And I said it'd just be easier for traffic if the driveway entrance was further to the north, so that way, instead of like Nick said, zigzagging through the parking lot to get out of there. And this way we can get more parking stalls in the parking lot as well, so. And as far as additional costs, it's just gonna be, we'll be filling in an extra 25 feet of curb that wasn't originally intended to do, so, which will be very minimal amount, I would assume a couple $1,000s for that, so.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, I will open the public hearing on an ordinance to amend the code of the County of Price by amending Chapter 473 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Article 4, All-Terrain Vehicle Route, to add State Statute 473.15, Authorized Operation of a State Bridge. This is to authorize the use of ATVs, UTVs from Fayette Street to County Highway F.
We received no communications in the office, Larry.
Is anyone here to speak on that? Pro or con? And no one's online?
If you're online and you're here for the public comment, it's *6.
Okay, at this time, I'll close the public hearing and let the record reflect that no one.
I'm for it, but I didn't sign up. I mean, I'm just here to answer any questions if I possibly can.
Do you have something you want to say on it?
Other than,
Go up to the mic, introduce yourself, and
I'm the president of the Range Rovers ATV club here in Phillips area. And we've been working on this for quite a while, and I have a lot of rapport of good for that section to be opened, not just for convenience, but it's for local traffic, the people that live in town that could use it, go either direction, the people from the north that can go either direction instead of trapping them through town to only cross in one spot. They feel that this would help out tremendously of going north, south, crossing a couple different spots. So I'm hoping everything goes good. We can get it signed and hopefully we don't have any problems. If we do, I had talked to the city as well. And if there is any issues, by all means, get a hold of myself or somebody on the town before anything happens, and we'll try to resolve anything that goes sour, if it will. But I'm hoping everything will be fine once people get used to it. Thank you.
Okay. Let the record reflect one person was here to speak in favor of it. This time I will close the public hearing. Item number 3, decision on ordinance. What's your pleasure, ladies and gentlemen?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Motion by Jordan,
I'll second it.
And forward to the county board.
second by Doug.
Yes.
Signage, proper signage, that's all I can say. The more the merrier.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
There you go.
Item 4, sand shed additional funding request.
Yeah, so The building allocations weren't quite as high as what was anticipated this year. So ultimately, we have the funds to put the building up, but to pave the inside, to complete the project and to utilize the shed this year. I'm requesting to use an additional up to 65,000. I don't anticipate to use that much, but just in case there's some unforeseen issues that we may come across, I just don't want to shortchange myself. I don't plan on spending that much, but I talked to Nick about it as far as where we could funds to use out of for the additional. We have our general fund.
Yep. So if you guys want to approve to get this project done this year instead of waiting another year to finish it, we have a couple options. The one I wouldn't recommend would be the highways general fund. We've been kind of poking at that for a while with large equipment and things like that, and so it's not probably the best option. We have the county's general fund. That's an option, but it's also a capital improvement project, and that is a pretty healthy fund right now, with no foreseen large projects on the horizon. We have some smaller projects, but it's regenerative, so it's not that out of spec. We're not going to eat into that. So if you do decide to move forward with it, that's what I would recommend based on where we have some funding, is recommend executive committee to consider this a capital improvement project, or part of it a capital improvement project, and use that funding. The only thing I'll tell executive is, if the bug tussle thing will affect our capital improvement or funding, in the sense of, if we don't move forward, we have some projects in there for towers, which is about $500,000. So that would eat into that. We only have $1 million in that, so would be the only thing executive would be looking at. But in general, it's up to you guys to decide if you want to do the project this year or have Roger wait a year to get it done.
Have they started on the project yet?
Yes, so the foundations are in, and then the T-panels are going up on Thursday. And ideally, the asphalt should go down before the top of the building is up, because it makes it cheaper. Otherwise, I got to bring in a shuttle buggy to get the asphalt inside the building to pave it. So spec wise, it's supposed to be 6 inches of asphalt. That's why it's so expensive, is so they make sure there's no permeation going, any salt residue or anything going in the ground, contaminating the ground, which of course is the concern with salt sand being outside currently. So that's something we always get dinged on when they do their inspection. So
This was a multi-phase project. So like, we used some of our funds from 2 years ago, some of our funds from this year. What happened though is, when you have a lighter winter, some of your storage costs aren't there, some of your reimbursements aren't there, which then doesn't put it back into that fund at the same rate we have been in the past. So we'll regenerate that fund at the end, December 31st this year, and then again December 31st the following year. It's just, we could wait till next spring and do it,
yeah,
to use that money, or we can get it done in order.
And if you get the blacktop down, then we will put the sand salt in there this year.
correct. Yeah, our new stuff. So we have the current, which we have a lot of sand left over from last year, which, I mean, I hate to move it, just to move it over in there, but we're short, so we still need more material.
But having a roof over this will allow us to add more salt to the mix.
Yes,
'cause
so
it'll have a
we could up the percentage to 10%, and so, which we did reach out to the townships that, now if you want sand salt at a lower percentage, you have to put in your order, and we'll make that outside, and you have to
Okay.
come and pick it up immediately, because anything else that'll be inside the building will be at a higher percentage.
okay.
The other thing is, we'll save labor costs and material costs by not having to tarp the pile that's left over next year. that's
Yeah, we
sitting
go
there.
through a tarp every year, and that's, they're expensive. The last one I think was $10,000 to cover the pile.
Yeah.
It would only make sense to keep going on this project as long as we have such a good start on it already.
Yeah. I I would make a motion that we forward it on to executive committee to consider approving 65,000 out of the county general fund to be forwarded onto the full county board for final approval.
Or capital.
Yeah, I would just say funding by the county. It will,
However you want.
executive,
Being however you
I'll-
want to
yeah,
make
I'll
it sound
put
good.
the,
executive would
Executive
decide.
committee for consideration of funding source.
We recommend going forward with the project, yeah.
When is their next meeting though? How long? I mean, this kind of needs to happen somewhat soon, correctly?
It would have to go to executive, and I want to say it would be a resolution, so it would be at the next board meeting, which is September 18th.
I've got the 10th. Yeah.
Executive is September 10th.
Okay.
Yes, the next county board is September 17th.
When is the next county board?
September 17th. So that's as soon as it could happen anyway.
Is that,
Looking up. American Gun still be set up?
Yeah, I'll do what I can to push everybody off.
okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jordan. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. County trunk dewater issue. Roger?
Yep, as we had the individual spoke today, they reached out to me. I looked at it, I did tell them, that there's, my thought was too, as well as drain tile would be, beneficial to their building as well. Looking at the site, the driveway that does not have a culvert in it, talking with Pete, it sounds like, and with them, the water on the other side of the road does get quite high and comes across. Part of me is afraid if we did dig the driveway out and put a culvert in there, that in spring high water events, that water would also stay in that ditch far enough that would back up into that ditch. That is always a possibility as well. Because there are two culverts that cross the road there. I believe Larry and Paula, we are going to go out there after the meeting and also take a look at it too. I'm sure, Joe, you must have some background. You must have looked at it at times.
Yeah, yep. So I've looked at it too in the past. And like you said, there's concern ditching that they're still gonna back that water up is one concern. When he talked about that, when the county did the road project a few years ago, I don't believe we've done any
The roadway doesn't look super new.
elevation work in the last, I think we just resurfaced that the last time we did it. I think I might even been running the paver then, so it might have been 15, 20 years ago since we've done anything out there. So anyway, I'm not sure that the statement that the change in the elevation in the road is what's caused it. Obviously, they do have a concern there. Again, not looking at or shooting elevation shots or anything. Did Pete go out and shoot elevation shots in that to show what the topography is there and what we could do?
I did bring up our zoning maps, which has the elevation, the roads at, looks like 1692, 1691, and the buildings at 1688, across the streets at 1690, 1691. Goes down to 1683, about whatever, 100 yards from the road.
Basically, everything slopes to the east. All the ground.
So there's no way to ditch along the road to take this water in.
I don't know if it goes anywhere.
And I
straight
can't-
to the north, there's a ditch.
It's
Right. So right where you back down this cursor, that's where the driveway is that they're talking about.
Yeah, there's ditching done here, you can see. There's
Yeah. And then
So
it-
what's that elevation there?
Hmm,
On the other side of that.
87, 90. So it's 1 foot deeper in this ditch area here.
But when it gets down
But then
to,
it's much lower. It goes up 1 foot and goes back down over.
Oh,
if I remember right, there isn't a culvert that goes to the north under the tracks. I believe both culverts are on the run east and west on each side of the tracks. Is that correct, Roger? So any water that comes down there would have to go to the east, because I don't believe there's a, or is there a culvert under the tracks going to the north?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So
either.
the way the water runs and everything runs to the east, there's a ditch along that field to the north of the church that goes east, I do believe.
This is north for you, those who.
Do I make a comment?
It's up to the chair.
Sure.
See, before they raised the road, there was a sidewalk from the church went out to the road, and there was just a little bridge, and you could walk straight onto the, and people would park on there, and then they'd come in, but they raised it that much, and we've been fighting this for years. And, you know,
That would have been raised when Leo Namzu was still commissioner, wouldn't it, Joe?
So,
Were you on the?
no, so initially when you said a few years,
well, it's been there
it's
for
been,
years. We've been fighting it.
you've been fighting it for 20, 25 years, 30 years? Okay, all right. Just to get a, I wanted to make sure that something didn't happen in between that time with Leo.
It's whenever they did it, but it's been
Okay,
years that we've always fought this, you know.
okay.
And there is a drain in the floor, but that only works when the basement floods, and then I showed Roger where it goes out towards it goes, everything flows east. So,
So you don't have a sump pump in the basement or anything?
no,
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the area. Oh, okay.
I can't get the old maps. I don't have a good.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Paula.
After we attended my husband and I attended the Town of Knox meeting, we drove over there because I had concerned citizens talking to me about it. And, you know, I just wonder, I'm really new to this. I mean, I've driven by it for years because it's a good way to go home. I'm just wondering, has that driveway always been so wide? No? Wasn't it a smaller driveway to get into there? It was, okay, so now it goes down. And I know when we looked at that, we just wondered if, you know, because it is so big, it's just like a funnel for everything that comes in there, water. But just, is there possibility? I mean, when you're looking at it, and very novice eyes here, but, you know, can that driveway be elevated slightly on the west side? West side, so north, south, east. North is that way south. Okay, the east side, so that it would fall and then maybe ditched so it goes off into the other area. I don't know. Is there some way that can work?
well, actually, the way the driveway sets, the water comes down the driveway and it actually flows a little bit south, and then there's a ditch on the south side of the.
Okay, but it doesn't take the majority of the water. You're saying it comes right over the,
The church from there, it pitches away from.
it does. Okay,
To the south, and then it goes into that field there, that part of the driveway does.
okay,
We've never had problem on that.
on that side. No,
Just on the highway side, and I put dirt in there and raised it up and everything. Good in the dry year, but now with a wet year, the water just sits in there, comes around over.
well, and there's just that huge area that's just like a bowl. And I mean, even our feet of snow that we get have to be just a scare for you as at times when it melts. So I don't know. It was a puzzler. That's for sure.
Doug?
As a county, I mean, we would, only on the county right of way would be the only thing that we could possibly ditch on, correct? I mean, that's our only, you know,
Yep.
if we can route it around.
And that was one thing I looked at too, so to the north of the church. It's hard to, because there's so much brush in there. It looks like there was kind of somewhat of a ditch alongside the fence line. I mean, so even if you were to produce to the north, if you kept going,
So which way does the
'Cause
water
we're-
want to flow, north or south from
it wants to go, the water actually goes east.
east, but for along the highway, which would,
It really, so that so from there's culverts that cross the road right between the old store and the house that's on the left side. There's two culverts that cross the road, and then it goes to the north and then down that tree line.
So,
So potentially trying to do about 100 yards of ditching across that field to their lawn to help.
send
Would-
water north.
We'd have to put in a driveway culvert. There's no culvert in the driveway.
So you're
That-
telling me a
that's-
farmer put in a culvert or a driveway without a culvert? Never heard of that before.
so I'll go back to my original question. Have we shot elevations out there? Did Pete or somebody else go out?
Not yet. We've been so busy,
Yeah,
honestly.
and
that it's-
understandably, yep. But before we get the cart in front of the horse here, I think we need to know where the water can go, where it's not going, and where to go with it. Just similar to what we did with you, Doug, down there on that situation you had down in your town, to get a lay of the land, because you can look at what Nick's got up there, and it shows elevations through there, but if something was filled in at a certain time, you're not gonna see that. So, I think the first step is to do elevations to see where we're at and see what it's gonna do, if we're gonna proceed with doing something there. And that, like I said, because without seeing those numbers, we're kind of guessing where things should go and where they shouldn't go.
Everything in that area flows north. You go up like Stadium Road, there's a point when it presses, and then everything flows south from there. And there's actually right in Brantwood through town of Knox, there's a divider, or what do you want to call it? And it flows north and south there. Every road, every creek until you get to Clifford flows north. Every ditch flows north.
And you're right, and exactly, and that's a good point. But the point I'm making is to get it to those areas, you have different elevations and the topography that is gonna dictate how deep your ditch is gonna be, how long your ditch is gonna have to be, where that ditch is gonna have to go. So that's what, if we're going to entertain something here, we need that information before we can proceed forward, I think.
Yeah,
My
because there's
personal-
not even a culvert in the church driveway.
Yep.
Are the landowners of these driveways responsible for the culverts?
Technically, yes.
I was gonna say, in the township, we definitely, it's the driveway's owner pays for the culvert.
As far as I know, that driveway has never been used. Until I walked with Roger, I didn't even know it was there. The driveway comes off the highway, but I think when
They access it from,
in there and there's a fence, there's no gate, there's no nothing. They've never used that driveway. They're like, well,
Whose driveway is it?
yeah, it's that one right there. It's all grass. You can't
Sherry
hit it.
Huffman owns it now, so.
Somebody, excuse me, but somebody makes hay on that field because there were bales on there.
They come around the backside of the church.
Okay,
They own all the land around the church except for the church.
so we want to make sure that wherever we're talking about diverting it, we don't want to take out their fields either. I don't know.
Well, I think we need a whole lot of more information before our next highway committee meeting. What does the committee think on that?
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, I think something needs to be done with the elevations to be able to see if we can get drainage and flow.
And like Paula said, another good point is how do we affect the landowners where we're sending that water to? Obviously, there's a lot here, but we have to consider everything also, so.
Okay. Anything else on that item? If not, we'll move on to County Trunk S, speed reduction request.
So I thought I'd share with you the data. I put the traffic counter out there, which also captures speed data. So in the course of a week, there's 1,400 cars that traveled
Thank you, guys.
County Highway S where the complaint came in.
Thank you.
As you can see, the average speed was 28 miles an hour. The fastest speed was 48. So looking at this data, I did not share it with the individual yet until I talked with you. But I see no issue to spend money on a speed study or even any enforcement or any sign changes at whatsoever. Spend any money on this.
Well, that's a lot of cars.
1,400 cars in a week?
200 a day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crikey, there's,
Not Highway 13 here.
there's 200 a day that go to United Pride. Jeez.
I like your system though, Roger. That's a nice system you got there, and I agree with you. I don't see anything
No,
warranting any.
this doesn't
action.
warrant any speed reduction.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting this out, Roger.
Yeah. This is a really nice unit. So when you put it out there and you just download it and it gives you all this data and
Like I said, I remember we did this once on H back when Joe was around and whatnot, and then people are like, they're going 80, 90 miles an hour through there, and I think that came back at the average speed being like 42,
yeah.
and it just reassures. Yep, yeah.
I see Jordan only drove through once.
At 7 miles an hour, I went through there. Yeah.
Tom? We have the town chairman here
What's that?
No, we're just talking about the speed,
on county.
the speed, you know, the,
Shared the information with Roger. Roger's talking about, it's 175 to 200 cars a day. Speed limit is 28 miles an hour average. Is about what I expected. There's
Yeah.
2 sharp corners in each end.
yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
It's good just the way it is.
yeah, exactly.
The comment you had made about over 200 cars to go to United Pride.
Yeah.
All I want to comment is the roads to United Pride are better than this.
Yeah,
Point that out.
yeah.
And
Well, now,
part of
Tom,
shorter
that
strip.
Might be what keeps the speed down on S.
No, it's a 2 sharp corners.
and part of that probably is that people were using that instead of going through W when they're constructing
Oh,
W
sure.
too. So
Okay.
I mean, they were paving at that time, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably the increased traffic flow.
Only one
I would be
person was late
surprised
for
if
work.
that's regular.
There's more traffic out there than you think, you know, if this was the 2, per week, during the middle of summer, not July 4th or the weekend, holiday weekend. There's still more traffic out there.
Yeah.
So am I correct in saying that we probably could put this to sleep to
I think we can
leave a sleeping dog lie?
Yep.
I agree.
Thanks, Tom.
Uh,
Okay, there'll be no further action taken on the speed limit on County Trunk S, and the speed will remain at 55. County Trunk Highway W project update, Roger?
So all the main line paving is done. They still have majority of all the driveways to tie into and the intersections. The guys they'll be finished up shouldering the main line today. Ultimately, it would have been nice if the intersections and everything else were done, because now we got to go back and tie everything in with the shouldering. All in all, the project went really well. Just time wise, it just didn't go as planned, unfortunately, but, yeah.
We know on budget at all where we're at?
Well, not till I get a bill from American, I won't know. D came in, asphalt came in under budget. I think 30,000 than their bid price. So let's
Wow.
hope on 13 miles.
Half of that new blacktop at the salt shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen the bill from W yet, Jordan, so,
We get a discount for the 8-week delay, right?
yeah.
No, it looks nice and had a lot of compliments from people that were driving on it for many years and said it's really nice. So, yeah, nice work on it.
Yeah.
It's nice that you could do that for the new board member out that direction.
Yeah.
New board member doesn't drive that way.
Oh.
I take F.
Yeah. And we'll be, next week, we're gonna do some chip sealing. So we're gonna chip seal that far end out there. And 4 other locations. So that's Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday next week. So like I said, the boys have a very busy schedule this summer.
Well, that keeps them from fighting at the shop.
Right. Keeps them out of the shop.
Yeah.
Till the truck breaks though, but.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for Roger on County Trunk W? If not, thank you for the report. We're down to schedule our next meeting date.
September, we should probably go through our CIP plans for the airport, the highway road improvements, buildings and equipment. Correct?
Correct. So that should come to the September county board meeting on the 17th, so sometime before the 17th. The 12th is available. Thursday.
Work for you, Joe? Paula? Doug, it's gonna rain that day.
We're good then.
Jordan?
I don't know when we're starting harvest, so
Well, you can sit in the berry picker and listen on your phone.
One is to schedule everything.
No.
Skip it.
no.
Had 2 children.
Whatever year.
September 12th it is,
Yes. 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Doing a winter road tour this year?
I figured we'd do a fall one in October. Hopefully W and everything will be done by then. Yeah.
Do we want to pick a date in October right now or do it in September?
Does later October work better for you, Jordan?
Yeah, roughly after the 15th. That would work better for me too. Yeah, they're pretty cold. Sometime after that.
And the entire county board will be invited.
15th. Well, that meeting is the 15th.
Yeah, yep, but yeah, I mean, after that date.
That
if
whole
matters.
week, those 2 weeks after are pretty open.
Okay.
Well, we'll pick a date for our fall road tour in September.
Sure.
Sounds good, Larry.
Yeah, because I should know then at that point, if we're starting and whatnot. We'll take fruit samples on the 3rd and send them in and see where we're at, so. Who knows, everything changes really fast. All of a sudden it seems in the fall. I remember when I was a kid, we didn't start harvest till the first week in October, and then it went to the last week in September, and last year we started September 11th, so times have changed. Plants
Wow.
keep growing faster and faster, it seems.
Okay, we've exhausted our agenda and our next meeting date is scheduled, so we're in order to adjourn. I